Let's practice rewriting improper fractions as mixed numbers together. Remember that you can think of fractions as division problems. For number 1, we have the fraction 3/2. Now, if we want to rewrite this as a division problem, we can go ahead and put the 3 inside the house and the 2 outside the house. 2 is going to fit into 3 one time. 1 times 2 is 2, and you have a remainder of 1. So this whole number of 1 on top is going to be the whole number. The remainder of 1 is going to be the one that's going to be in the fraction on top in the numerator. And then this 2 that's at the very end, this 2 that we were dividing by, is going to stay as a denominator. So 3/2 is the same thing as 1.5. For number 2, we have 5/3, so we're going to go ahead and put the 5 on the inside, 3 on the outside. 3 is going to fit into this 5 one time, so 1 times 3 is going to be 3. And if we subtract, we get a remainder of 2. So notice what's going to happen here. So this whole number is going to be the 1. The remainder there was going to be 2. And what were we dividing by in the beginning? It's going to be the same denominator we started with, which is this 3 over here. So this is 1 2/3. For number 3, we have 9/8. So let's go ahead and put this division house and put 9 on the inside. And we're going to put this 8 on the outside. Okay, 8's going to fit into this 9 one time. 1 times 8 is going to equal 8. And if we subtract, the remainder is going to be 1. So if we have the improper fraction of 9/8, that's equivalent or the same thing as 1 whole with 1 out of 8 left over. So 1/8 is going to be the fraction part. Okay. For number 4, we have 7/4. So let's go ahead and say 7's on the inside. 4 is going to go along the outside. And how many times will 4 fit into 7? 4 fits into 7 one time. 1 times 4 is going to be 4, and the remainder here is going to be 3. So 7/4 is going to be the same thing as 1 whole, but the remainder is going to be 3 out of 4 pieces. So 3/4 is going to be the fractional part. So for number 5, we have this 8/3, so we can go ahead and rewrite this and put 8 on the inside and put 3 along the outside. 3 fits into 8, it looks like 2 times, right? Because 2 times 3 is going to equal 6. That's as close as we can get, and our remainder is going to be 2. So it went in 2 whole times, and our remainder is going to be 2 out of 3. So not quite 3 whole times, but 2 2/3 times. For number 6, we have this 10/3, so let's go ahead and put 10 on the inside, and we'll put the 3 on the outside. Now how many times does 3 fit into 10? So we have 3, 6, 9. So if it's in 3 times, 3 times 3 is going to be 9, and we're going to subtract and get a remainder of 1. So 10/3 goes the same thing as 3 wholes, and what's the fraction that's left over? We had a remainder of 1 over 3, same denominator as what we started with. For number 7, we have 15/2, so it's 15 divided by 2. Let's go ahead and put that 2 on the outside here. 2 times 7 is 14, and that's as close as we can get. So 2 times 7 is going to be that 14, and a remainder here is going to be 1. So if you have 15/2, that's the same thing as 7 wholes. And what's the fraction that's left over? It's going to be 1/2 as the leftover, or the remainder. For number 8, we have 19/4 here, or 19/4. So let's take the 19 and let's split it into 4 equal pieces. How many times will 4 fit into 19? Well, 4 times 4 is 16, and 4 times 5 is 20, so 5 is too much. 4 times 4 is 16. Our remainder here is going to be 3. All right, so the 4 is what we were dividing by, and the 3 is the remainder. So this is the same thing as 4 entire wholes and 3/4 of the next whole, right? We don't quite make 5 wholes, but we have 4 3/4. For number 9, we have 22/5. So let's go ahead and try the division for this one. So 22 divided by 5. And so this 5 is going to be the same denominator that we're going to use in a little bit. So 5 goes into 22 4 times. 4 times 5 is going to be 20, and our remainder here is going to be 2. So our mixed number here is going to be 4 wholes, and the remainder is going to be 2 out of 5. So let's put 2/5 as our fractional part here. For 10, we have 22/3. So let's go ahead and put 22 on the inside. We'll go ahead and put 3 on the outside as the divisor. 3 times 7 is going to be 21. That's as close as we can get without going over. We're going to get a remainder of 1. So 22/3 is going to be the same thing as 7 wholes and 1/3 left over. Okay, less than 8 entire things. For number 11, we have 36 divided by 5, so 36 on the outside, 5 on the inside. 5 will go into 36 7 times. 7 times 5 is going to be 35. So we're going to get a remainder here of 1. So we're going to have 7 entire wholes. And then what's the remainder? Well, we had 1 out of 5 left over, so it's going to be 1 out of 5 for the remainder. For number 12, we have this 43 sixths. So let's take 43 and divide it into 6 equal parts. And so let's see, 6 times 7 is going to be 42. That's as close as we can get, and there's going to be a remainder of 1. So there's a lot of 7s and remainders of 1s for here, right? Just kind of a coincidence. So 7 is going to be the whole number. There's going to be 1 left over out of the 6 parts. So it's going to be 1 over this 6. Keep in mind that that 6 matches the 6 over here. For 13, let's say we have 84 fifths. So let's take the 84 and let's split it into 5 equal pieces. So 5 is going to go into this 80, let's go into the 8 first rather. 5 into 8 one time, 1 times 5 is going to be 5. So let's go ahead and put the 5 and subtract. That's going to be a 3, and let's bring down this 4. And so 5 into 34, that's going to be 6 times. So it'll be 6 times 5, that's going to be 30. We're going to get a remainder here of 4. So in this case, we're noticing that we're taking 84 and dividing it by this 5, right? And that's going to be 16 wholes. That's going to be the whole number in our answer. And we're going to have 4 fifths as the remainder, so 4 out of 5. All right, cool. So that's going to be the mixed number here. For number 14, we have 48 ninths. So we'll take 48, let's split that into 9 equal pieces. 9 times 5 is going to be 45. That's as close as we're going to be able to get. And if we subtract here, notice that we're going to get a remainder of 3. Okay, so we're going to get 5 and 3 ninths. Notice how that 9 is going to be the same denominator we had earlier. So it's going to be 5 and 3 ninths. And you're going to want to notice one more thing here for this particular example, that we can actually simplify or SimpLEEfy this by dividing top and bottom by their GCF. And if we do that, we can rewrite this as 5 and 1/3. So that's going to be the most simplified version of this fraction. For number 15, we have this 56 thirds. So let's say we have 56 and we're going to divide this by 3. So 3 goes into 5 one time. 1 times 3 is going to be 3. If we subtract, we're going to get 2 and bring down this 6. Now 3 into 26, let's go with an 8 here. 8 times 3 is going to be 24. That's as close as you can get. We're going to get a remainder here of 2. So I think that's as far as we can go. 18 is the whole number here. And then 2 is going to be the remainder. So that's going to be the numerator. And a 3 that we had in the denominator earlier is going to stay on the bottom. Okay. For number 16, we have 57 fourths. So 57 divided by 4. 4 is going to go into 5 one time. 1 times 4 is going to be 4. So that's as close as we could get. Subtract, we get 1, bring down the 7. Now 4 into 17, 4 times 4 is going to be 16, which is pretty close. And our remainder here is going to be 1. So we have 14 entire things here, and we have a quarter left over. So 1 out of 4. This 4 is going to match this 4 over here. Okay. That's the first 16. Let's go on to number 17. For number 17, we have this 63 fifths. So let's go ahead and take the 63 and then split it into 5 equal parts. So 5 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 5 is going to equal 5. There's going to be 1 left over, bring down to 3. 5 into 13, let's say that's going to go in 2 times, right? 2 times 5 is going to be 10. And if we subtract, the remainder here is going to be 3. So again, we have 3 fifths for the remainder. So we're going to have 12 as the whole number. And then we're going to have 3 fifths as the part that we have left over, 3 fifths. Okay. For number 18, we have 95 fourths. So take this 95, let's split that into 4 equal parts here. And so let's see, 4 is going to go into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 is going to be 8. We're going to have a remainder of 1, bring down this 5. 4 times, let's go with 3. 4 times 3 is going to get us 12. And our remainder here is going to be 3. Right? So we have 23 as our whole number. Here's 23. And let's see what we have left over. Well, for the fraction part, we're going to have a 3 as the numerator. And just remember this 4 on bottom is going to match this 4. So hopefully those colors help line those up as well. Okay, so 23 3/4, same thing. For 19, we have 73 tenths. Okay, this division shouldn't be too bad. 73 divided by 10. 10 is going to fit into 73 7 times. 7 times 10 is going to be 70, and the remainder here is going to be 3. So keep in mind we're dividing into 10 parts here, so it's going to be 7 wholes, okay? And then we're going to have 3 tenths as the remainder, so put 3 on top of the 10, just like that, okay? For number 20, we have 84 elevenths, so take 84 and split it into 11 groups. And so 11 times 7 is going to be 77. 8's not going to work because you're going to get 88, and that's too much. So that's going to be a leftover of, I think, 7. So what is 84 elevenths? Well, that's the same thing as 7 wholes. There's a lot of 7 wholes on this worksheet. And that's going to be 7 over 11. So this 11 here matches this 11. So hopefully that's getting a little bit more consistent. Let's check out 21. For question 21, we have 28 fourths. So let's be on the lookout for when something like this happens, because this one's a little bit more unique. So let's take this 28 on the inside and put the 4. So it turns out 4 goes into 20 exactly 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. And if you subtract, notice the remainder here is going to be 0. So instead of writing 7 and 0/4, you can literally just write 7. It just happens to go in perfectly, and there's no remainder, okay? For number 22, we have 85 twelfths, so take 85 and divide by 12, right? These are sometimes a little bit more annoying just because you have to know your 12 times table, so I can see that being a little bit more of an extra bit of work. And so how close can 12 go to 85? Well, 12 times, let's go with 6. That's going to be 12, carry the 1. That's 72, right? But what's 12 times 7? So you might have to do some multiplication on the side here. 2 times 7 is 14, carry the 1. 1 times 7 is 7 plus 1 is 8, so that's 84. So that's definitely closer, so we're going to put a 7 up here. 7 times 12 is going to be 84. And if we subtract, we're going to end up with a remainder of 1 out of this 12 that we have over here, right? So this is going to be 7 wholes, and we're going to have 1/12 as our remainder, so 1 over 12. All right, for number 23, we have 65 thirds. So let's go ahead and divide that in. So 6 is going to be 2 times 3, so let's put a 2 on here. 2 times 3 is going to be 6. We have a remainder of 0. Let's bring down the 5. Now 3 is going to fit into this 5 one time. 1 times 3 is going to be 3. And we have a final remainder of 2. All right, let's actually go ahead and write it in this color so it matches everything else we've been doing. So we have this 2/3. So this would be 21 entire things with 2 out of 3 left over. Okay, that would be the mixed number version. For number 24, we have this 96 sevenths. So 96 split into 7 groups. 1 times 7 is going to be 7. Can't go in 2 times. We're going to have a remainder of 2 and bring down the 6 here. Now 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is too much. 7 times 3 is 21, so we get a remainder here of 5. All right, so 5/7 is really the fraction we're looking at, but it's going to be 13 wholes, and then we're going to have 5/7 left over. So 5 on top, 7 on bottom. Let's check out 25. For 25, we have this 47 over 2. So let's take 47 on top, or top inside the house, and put the 2 outside. So 2 times 2 is going to be exactly 4. So 4 minus 4, we're going to get a remainder of 0, but then bring down the 7. So 2 times 3 is going to be 6. And then so 7 minus 6 is going to be a remainder of 1. So let's see. Goes in 23 entire times, and we have this 1/2 left over. So let's go ahead and put a fraction bar and put that as 1 over 2. For 26, we have 78 over 2. Now keep in mind, 78 is an even number, and we're dividing it by 2. So we're going to get a whole number here, right? Because 78 is divisible by 2. So 2 times 3 is going to equal 6. So we're off by 1. Bring down the 8 here, so it's 18. Now 2 times 9 is going to equal exactly 18. And so our remainder here is going to be 0. So instead of writing 39 and 0 halves, you can just write 39 because there's no remainder. For number 27, we have 33 over 8. So let's put 33 on the inside, 8 on the outside. 8 doesn't fit into 3, but it fits into 33 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. So if we subtract, we're going to get a remainder of 1. So let's see, that's going to be 4 and 1/8. So it's going to be 4 wholes and then 1/8 left over. So let's go ahead and put the 1 on top and the 8 on bottom. So that's the mixed number version for 33/8. For number 28, we have 32 over 7. So let's put 32 on the inside, put 7 on the outside. 7 times 5 is 35, so 7 times 4, that's going to be 28. 28. And so we're going to be left with 4 here. Okay, so this is going to be 7 goes into 32 4 whole times with 4 7ths left over. So 4 is going to be on top, and then 7 is going to match this 7 over here. Okay, so 4 and 4 7, same thing as 32 over 7. For 29, let's see what we got. For 29, we have this 98 over 9. So let's take 98 and split it into 9 groups. So 9 goes into 9 one time. 1 times 9 is going to be 9. If we go ahead and subtract, we have 0, and we bring down the 8. And 9 will fit into 8 0 times. So put a 0 up there, don't forget. 0 times 9 is going to be 0. And if you subtract 8 minus 0, we have a remainder of 8. So this whole thing is going to go in 10 times, and our remainder is going to be this 8 over 9. So it almost went in 11 times, but it didn't. It went 10 and 8/9 times. Okay. If we look at number 30, we have 76 over 3. So 76 divided by 3. 3 times 2 gets you 6, which is pretty close to 7. We subtract, we're left with 1. We can bring down the 6, so it's 16. 3 times 5 is going to be this 15, which is pretty close to 16, and we have a remainder here of 1. So if we're looking at what 76 divided by 3 is, that's going to be 25 entire things. But what's the remainder? We have this 1 over this 3 over here, which is going to be the 3 that we're stealing and keeping the same. Okay, not changing that at all. For 31, we have 84 13ths. So let's take 84 and split into 13 equal groups. Let's see, 13 times tables. Well, we can go ahead and do some multiplication. 13 times, let's go with 6 maybe. So 6 times 3 is 18, carry the 1. That's going to be 78. And let's try 13 times 7 just for good measure. That's going to be 21, carry the 2. That's going to be 91. So it's a little too much. So we're going to go with 6 here. 6 times 13 is going to be 78. And if we subtract that to find the remainder, that's going to be 6. So we have a whole number of 6. It goes in 6 times. We have a remainder of 6, and that's going to be over the divisor that we started with. So this 13 that we started with is going to be the same 13 that's on the bottom. The denominators never change. Finally, we have this 152, and we're splitting it into 17 groups. So let's see, I don't know my 17 times tables quite well. So let's take our 17 and try multiplying. So 17 times 10 is 170, which isn't that far off from 152. So I'm gonna maybe start with 9 or 8, but I'm gonna start with 8 here. 7 times 8 is 56, carry the 5. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 5 is 136. Okay, so it's kind of close. Let's maybe try 17 times 9 to see if we can get closer. 7 times 9 is 63, carry the 6. 1 times 9 is 9, plus 6 is going to be 15. So 153, so we're off by 1. So we're gonna go with the 8 here. 8 times 17, we just found out was gonna be 136, right? And if we subtract this to find the remainder here is going to be 16, right? It's just off by 1 because we knew 17 times 9 is 153. So how many times does 17 fit into 152? Fits in 8 entire times. The remainder here is going to be 16 out of what? It's 16 out of this divisor here of 17. So that's going to be the mixed number version for 152 17ths. So hopefully you can see the value of being able to do long division using the standard algorithm. You can turn any improper fraction into a mixed number by just dividing the numerator by the denominator, aka putting in the top number of the fraction inside the house and the bottom number outside the house. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and letting me know in the comment section down below. And as always, keep up the great work that you're already doing, and I'll see you in the next one.